Jai Shishi Kishore Kishori Ki Jai Jayum Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotarashata Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayum Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotarashata Shishimad His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantarashman Bhagavatam Ki Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishiguru and Shiguranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonon, Chapter 45, Krishna rescues his teacher's son, text 39 and 40. Tam aha bhagavan ashu guru putra pradiyatam joshaya viva tvaya gasto balako mahatormina tam aha bhagavan ashu Guru Putra Pradiyatam Josha Vihatyaya Brasto Balako Mahatormina Tam Aha Bhagavan Ashu Guru Putra Pradiyatam Josha Viha Tvaya Grasto Balako Mahatormina. Please chant. Guru Putra Pradiyatam Iha Tvaya Grasto Balako Mahatormina. Bhagavan Ashu Guru Putra Padiyatam Joshabiha Tvaya Grasto Malako Mahatormina. Tam, to him, Aha, said, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, Ashu, quickly, Guru of my spiritual master, Putraha, the son, Pradiyatam, must be presented. Yaha, who, Asau, he, Iha, in this place, Tvaya, by you, Grastaha, seized, Balakaha, a young boy, Mahata, mighty, Urmina, by your waves. Translation, by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The Supreme Lord Krishna addressed the Lord of the ocean. Let the son of my Guru be presented at once, the one you seize here with your mighty waves. Text number 40. Sri Samudra Uvacha Nacharhasam Aham Deva Daitya Panchayano Maham Antarjala Chara Krishna Sankarupa Dharo Shura. Translation. The ocean replied, "O Lord Krishna, it was not I who adopted him, but the demonic descendant of Diti named Panchajana, who travels in the water in the form of a conch." Purport. Clearly, the demon Pankajana was too powerful for the ocean to control. Otherwise, the ocean would have prevented such an unlawful act. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Ramapada Swami Iti Namine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Again, text number 39. Translation. The Supreme Lord addressed the Lord of the ocean. Let the son of my Guru be presented at once, the one you seize here with your mighty waves. Srila Jiva Goswami comments, short comment. Krishna then showed his powers as Bhagavan. The son should be delivered here with the same body without decay. Because you are a devata, this is possible for you to do. You devour him here in Prabhas. So, Krishna showed his powers as Bhagavan, as the Param Ishvara. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that he controls the material energy. Maya Dakshena Prakriti Sujatans, what is it? Maya Dakshena Prakriti. Famous verse, but I have a blank. Maya Dakshena Prakriti. Anyway, chapter 7, Krishna says, he is in full control of material nature. And so he is ordering the personified ocean. His name is Samudra. Is the demigod that controls the ocean. And he is at once ordering, bring that son, the son of my Guru. And he should look perfectly well, although he was devoured by you. Now his body should be presented, a body with no decay, just as he was, like that. And so Krishna is ordering like that immediately the ocean to do this. So establishing or showing himself as the supreme controller. He can order the demigods this way and that way. And immediately the ocean comes out and responds. I think the ocean learned his lesson, because in the previous appearance of the Lord as Lord Ramachandra, he also ordered the ocean to appear and assist him in crossing the ocean from the south tip of India into Lanka. And the ocean didn't respond. And then when Lord Ramachandra, after 3 days of waiting for that response, imagine, here's the Supreme Lord asking, please come and assist. And then the ocean didn't respond. And having waited, Lord Ramachandra waited, because he didn't have to wait. But he waited for 3 days. And then on the third day, he looked at the ocean, and he says that his eyes were so fiery that just by the glance, the ocean started to boil. And then, yes, when he started to feel the fire on his behind, he just came out and humbly submitted to Lord Ramachandra. And then that's the famous that he gave Lord Ramachandra the means to cross the ocean, that you construct a bridge, and if you ride in each of the boulders that are being used to construct the bridge, if you write the name of Lord Ramachandra in the boulders will float. They won't sink into the water. So in that way, Lord Ramachandra crossed. So, the ocean and all the demigods are obedient to Lord Krishna. So this is the case right here. And in text number 40, again, the ocean comes out, Lord Samudra, and he says, "O Lord Krishna, it was not I who adopted him, but the demonic descendant of Diti named Panchajana, who travels in the water in the form of a conch." Srila Jiva Goswami also comments on this verse. Some versions have Samudra Uvacha and some do not. The commentators are not clear on this. Instead of na, cha, sometimes naiva is seen at the beginning of the verse. O Lord, who engages in play, Deva, since you know everything, giving the order is only your play. Panchajana is a great demon. Instead of Daitaha, Sridhar Swami seems to have the word Asuraha in his version. The verb aste should be as supplied in the last line. However, the verb for the last line is in the first two lines of the next verse, aste, which is seen only in some versions. The word prabhuhu should be added as the subject if the version does not have the first two lines of the next verse. O Krishna, it is not difficult for you to capture this demon, since you possess the power to attract everyone. So Srila Jiva Goswami is giving some Sanskrit technicalities, and for us, I guess the common fellow, what we got here in this commentary of Srila Jiva Goswami is that Lord Samudra, in one sense, is need of asking a question to him. He knows that it was that demon, Panchajana, who have adopted the child. So, but he's performing his pastime, and Lord Samudra is appreciating and acknowledging that. So, and he also acknowledged that Krishna, Lord Krishna, he won't have any difficulty in dealing with this demon, although this demon was so powerful that Lord Samudra could not do anything against him as he was doing his demoniac things. He captured this boy and in an illegal form, an illegal way. It's not, it was a demoniac act on the face or on the area of control of this demigod of the ocean. So, although this demon was so powerful, "Oh Krishna, it is not difficult for you to capture this demon." He addresses the Lord this way, as per Srila Jiva Goswami. So, we're going to hear a little bit of this Panchajana, or Krishna killing this Panchajana, but it's a very significant event, because somehow or other, it doesn't. I haven't heard, and I tried shortly to research how is that this demon was able to take this conch, because this is a very special conch. This is the conch of Lord Vishnu, and this demon was inhabiting this conch. So his name is Panchajana, but he also was known as Chankasura. Chank, Shanka means the conch shell, and then you put Shanka Asura is the conch shell demon. So he inhabited this conch shell. But this is a very special conch shell. This is the conch shell of Lord Vishnu. And this conch shell is one of the many items that appear during the churn of the milk ocean. You recall that? When the nectar of immortality was being brought out from the ocean of milk, in the churning, that is this amazing pastime in which Lord Kurma, the tortoise incarnation, serves as the, how you will call that, the pivot or something like that. And then the Mandara mountain was on the top of the back of Lord Kurma, and then it was used as a churning device. And then the great snake Vasuki was the rope, and one side was the demons and one side was the devatas churning. So Lord Kurma was keeping the whole thing, level, and Lord Vishnu on the top was keeping also. So Lord Kurma on the bottom, Lord Vishnu on the top, the mountain, the demigods, the demons churning. They churn the ocean, and it's the same principle that is used when you churn milk. Then what happens? Then the cream starts to come out, which is, the essence at the end. It becomes butter, and with butter you get to ghee, and like that, which is, the most subtle substance of the milk. So, churning the ocean of the milk, the nectar of immortality comes out, but also a whole line of different items, very auspicious items, such as, well, Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, came from that churning of the ocean, and she became the consort of Lord Vishnu. And there's also other items like the Kamadenu, or the wish fulfilling cow. The Parijata tree came from that ocean, churning of the ocean. The Kalpavriksha tree came out of that ocean. And also the Shanka, the conch shell, came of that. And there are many other different items, Yeah, here's a list. Oh, here's a list. Yes. So, Lakshmi, the Kaustuba money, the Kaustuba jewel came out of the churning of the ocean. The Parijata tree, the Varuni, the goddess, and Varuni is this beverage that is used by the demigods, and especially is liked very much by Lord Balaram. Dhanvantari is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. That is, from Dhanvantari, the science of health, medical science, come Ayurveda. Chandra, the moon, comes out. Kamadenu, Kalpavriksha. Airvata, the elephant, that is the carrier of Indra. The Apsaras, like Ramba, Menaka, Punjikashtala, these are famous. The Apsaras are these beautiful demigoddess, or sometimes they're damsels of the heavens, that their beauty is so incredible, and sometimes they sent by Indra to deviate great yogis out of their austerities. Ramba was sent to distract Vishwamitra Muni. Remember, she was cursed by Vishwamitra Muni to become a stone, like that. So, and Urvasi, and there's so many different that were used like that. So the Apsaras. Uchishravas, which is, is a horse. It's a divine horse, 7-headed horse. Sharanga, which is the bow of Lord Vishnu. The Shanka, which is it became the conch of Lord Vishnu. And finally, the nectar of immortality, Amrita. So the conch is considered one of the symbols of Lord Vishnu. He holds 4 symbols. The Sudarsan Chakra, or the Chakra. The conch shell. So you have in one hand the Sudarsan Chakra. You have 4 hands. So the top hands is the conch shell, the Sudarsan Chakra. And in the bottom is the Gada and the lotus flower. The Sudarsan Chakra is called Pankajanya. Panchajanya. The chakra is Sudarshan. The Gada is Kaumudiki. Kaumudi, we have, one of the girls. Kaumudiki. And the lotus flower. So you notice that 2 are powerful weapons and 2 are auspicious symbols. The Lord have, in general, when he comes to this world, he have these 2 functions that he performed, these 2 activities. He explains, Paritranaya, Shadunan, Vinashaya, Chaduskritam. So he gives pleasure and enlivens the devotees, and he punishes and chastises the demons, the demoniac, or the miscreants. So he uses his weapons to protect the devotees and to chastise those of demoniac, those who are disrupting the religious principles. So in general, you see Krishna's weapon of preferred weapon is the Sudarsan Chakra, and Lord Balaram, his favorite weapon is the mace, or the gada, the how you call that, the mace. But Lord Vishnu, he is known. He used the gada. We recall the fight of Lord Varaha with Hiranyaksha, was a gada fight. We see Lord Varaha with his mace fighting, like that. So we have these two weapons, so we have these two very auspicious symbols, the conch shell and the lotus flower. And there's a description that explains the significance of all these four symbols, which is, very nice. Find it here. Yeah, so the Shanka is the symbol of origin of existence. It is associated with water, the first element, the source of all life. It has the form of multiple spirals evolving from a point to an ever-increasing spheres. It produces a sound associated with the primal sound from which the creation expanded when blown. So it is explained that the sound of the conch shell, it is like the sound of the Om. So it's that same powerful, from the sound, from the syllable Om, everything expands. That's the original, that's the seed of all creation. It is explained. That sound vibration. So the conch shell sound is the syllable Om, like that, when we hear it. The Shanka that Vishnu holds is Panchajanya. So it's a very, let me, because this is interesting, let me read to you some of the significance of the other symbols of Lord Vishnu. The Sudarsan Chakra, it represents the universal mind, the will to multiply. This is from the Vishnu Purana. Chakra represents the cohesive aspect of Vishnu. Cohesive. The chakra is the design of a wheel. The wheel is symbolic of life, ever renewing itself in a cycle of time. The wheel of radiance symbolizes the sun. Its 6 spokes represent the 6 reasons, the 6 cycles of the year. The nave in which the spokes are set, the center, represents chainless and motionless reality. The spin of the wheel creates the illusion of duality, the Maya. The Gada mace, named Komoduki, dazzles and intoxicates the mind. It's called the stupefier of the mind. This is from the Vishnu Purana also. The mace in Vishnu's hand symbolizes primal knowledge, Adya Vidya. The maize komudiki is often referred to as the female, the dazzler, who destroy all that opposes it. Kaumuduki is compared to Kali, the power of time. Nothing can conquer time. This is from Krishna Upanishad. The lotus, the immaculate flower rising from the depth of water, ever remote from the shore, and unfolding in all its glory, represent the evolving universe, the expansion of creation. Ye evolve from the formless endless of causal waters. The lotus symbolizes purity, spiritual wealth, abundance, growth, and fertility. Is sometimes taken as the emblem of 6 transcendental powers, or the 6 opulence: Bhaga, Jnana, Shakti, Bala, Aishwarya, Virya, and Tejas, which is, fame, wealth, knowledge, etc., 6 opulence, which characterize divinity, Bhagavan. So, the Shanka, is also very important in the use of worship, in the use of the worship of the Lord. We use it to begin any type of worship. The sound of the conch is always there to begin, because the sound of the conch, it is explained that eliminates all inauspiciousness. Just by that sound, any type of inauspicious vibration eliminated. And also, it is known by the use of Lord Vishnu, when he sounds the conch shell, it is sound of victory. It's the sound of auspiciousness. So we know that from the Bhagavad Gita, that the Lord uses the conch like that. When in the first chapter, after Bhishma Dev sound, it is said that Bhishma sound his powerful conch shell, and the sound was tumultuous. And all the Kurus, the warriors of the Kurus, Duryodhana and all the Kurus, they sounded their conch shell too. And the sound was described as tumultuous, so like powerful sound. But then the Bhagavad Gita, in this case Sanjaya, is describing Krishna's sound, and his conch shell was described as transcendental. Divyao Shankao Pradat Matu. So Krishna and Arjuna sound the transcendental conch shells. And so then Krishna sounds his, the Panchajanya. Arjuna sounds his, the Devadatta. Bhima sounds his powerful one called the Pandra. So this is the descriptions of the Bhagavad Gita. Yudhishthira sound the Ananta Vijaya. And the sound was so powerful that it shatters the hearts of the Kurus and enliven the hearts of all the devotees in the universe. Like, I remember on Sunday we were hearing Krishna Archana giving a class on the roar of Lord Varaha. So it's a sound vibration that the Lord, when he emits the sound vibration, then throughout the universe, all the devotees, all the pious devotees became enlivened, became glad, their hearts became happy and enlivened, just by that sound vibration that was described. It was described as beautiful. Now it's a roar, in the case will be a roar of a boar, so it will be something, first, if you look at boar, it's not something that it will enliven you, but it will scare you like anything, because they're not good looking. And then if you hear the screechy sounds of their, if you ever hear a pig screaming, it's not pretty. It's this screechy sound, and what to speak of a wild pig, like a boar. But the roar of Lord Varaha was described as beautiful, like very pleasant and beautiful, like the sound of the conch shell or the sound of powerful yogis chanting Om. It's very soothing. It penetrates and goes directly into your heart, and you become, enlivened like that. So Krishna sounding his conch shell enlivened, and is basically declaring victory. So the conch shell is like that. So when we blow the conch shell to start any auspicious activity or worship, then any bad vibrations and atmospheres, everything gets eliminated. There is also the yogis in meditation. It's not only the conch shell itself. Well, they also, besides that, before that, the conch shell we use also to bathe the Lord. So the conch shell is known to be, is usually, like it says in the description of the Vishnu Purana, that is related to water. So when we bathe the Lord, we use the conch shell like that. And the Vedas tell us that the conch shell, although is the bone of a creature, that's the element, it is all auspicious. In general, the bone of any living entity is untouchable, and you can use, you recall that when the demons wants to defile the places of worship of the Brahmanas, they throw all kinds of inauspicious things, and among them is bones. So stool, blood, bones, they throw, like that. So these things are untouchable. What to speak of using it, for worship, but the conch shell is pure. So Prabhupada often gives that example to highlight that the Vedas are always right. They're the most powerful truth or how you say, proof of anything. So the Vedas says that the bones are untouchable. A stool is untouchable. If you touch a bone or you touch a stool, you have to take bath. But the stool of a cow is pure and can be used for water, for worship. And the conch shell, the bones of an animal, of a creature, is pure and you can use for worship. So, like that. And then we also have the yogis, powerful yogis, when they do meditation, and especially the teaching says that while practicing yoga and you're trying to meditate, and if you've been somehow or other disturbed by some mental anguish or something disturbed that is disrupting your meditation, you meditate using a mudra called the Shanka Mudra. And that Shanka Mudra is very powerful because it eliminates, just as a conch, all the bad thoughts and inauspicious things in the mind. So your meditation will be very steady. This mudra is also used for balancing, because the conch shell is soothing and is like the water element. So when your fire is disturbed in the body, especially for digestion problems and that type of things that are to do with fire, like ulcers and heartburn and that type of thing, then you use this mudra to balance the fire. So the mudra is with your left hand and your right hand. So the four fingers holds the thumb, and then you wrap your fingers around the thumb of the left hand, and then with your thumb so you see it looks like a conch shell. So holding the mudra in this way, you chant the Om mantra, and that in itself is like that, your meditation will be very, very steady. In general, we know yogis or practitioners of yoga chanting Om, they use the Gyam mudra, or like this. But this one is when you're having some difficulty, the mind is all over the place, brings it down. So the conch shell is very significant, in other words, just going through all that. And in terms of Lord Vishnu, how he uses his conch shell to enliven and reassure the devotees, by sounding the conch shell and also by blessing devotees with the conch shell. We know that in the past time when the Lord appeared in front of Dhruva Maharaj, remember that Dhruva as a child, when he broke from his meditation in which he was seeing the Lord form within the heart, then opens his eyes and there is the Lord in front of him, and in his beautiful form holding the four symbols. And the boy Dhruva became completely stunned. It's one of the symptoms of ecstasy. You become stunned. So you can't speak, you can't say anything. So he couldn't say anything, he couldn't do anything. So the Lord took his conch shell and touched his head, and then the boy was able to deliver all these beautiful prayers. So these are the importance, of how by the sound vibration of the conch shell and by the touch of the conch shell, the Lord enlivened his devotees. And similarly with lotus flower, we know that is in general we hear about the soothing aspect of the lotus flower and how the lotus flower is compared to the reawakening of the transcendence of divinity and auspiciousness in our lives. So we don't have to deal with the Gada and the Sudarsan Chakra. That's for the demons. So we pray to Sudarsan for protection. So and like that, but we don't have to fear the Sudarsan Chakra. And you see that how it played the important role in the pastimes of Ambarish Maharaj, when Durvasha Muni insulted or attacked Ambarish Maharaj, and then the Lord sent the Sudarsan Chakra to protect Ambarish Maharaj. He killed the demon. The Sudarsan killed the demon that was created by Durvasha Muni, and then chased Durvasha Muni to kill Durvasha Muni for offended like that. But then, under the direction of Lord Vishnu, Durvasa surrendered and apologized sincerely to Ambarish Maharaj, and Ambarish Maharaj forgiven, and then Sudarshan. So this is this dual purpose of the Lord. What else? Oh, so then Panchajana, this demon, during the pastimes of Krishna, he was the one who had this conch. I don't know. I have to find out how he was able to get hold of that conch. But it was then that Krishna killed this demon and then took his conch. So now, that was his conch. And that's a famous, it became Panchajanya, means the conch was named on the name of Pankajana, Panchajana, Panchajanya. It's like of Panchajana. So Krishna, like that, he obtained his weapons, his symbols. In a similar way, he obtained the Sudarsan Chakra. If you recall, in Krishna book, when Agni wanted to devour this forest, what's the name of this forest? The Dantava. You remember the name of the forest? Yeah. Yeah, there was this forest, Dantava, or Dantava, something like that. I can't remember perfectly. But nevertheless, Agni wanted to consume this forest. And but Indra wouldn't allow him to consume the forest because there were some demons, especially living in that forest. There were certain demons that were favored by Indra, including the demon who constructed who is the engineer of who did Lanka and who did famous demon engineer. So he was staying there too. Krishna, with the help of Krishna and Arjuna, the Agni was able to consume the forest, and then Agni presented Krishna the Sudarsan Chakra. And through that pastime, Arjuna received also the Gandiva bow. So, they've been receiving, Krishna is receiving all these weapons and these symbols that he uses, famously uses. We know the Sudarsan Chakra became his weapon of choice, Krishna. That's how he killed Shishupal, right? And the conch shell, we hear how Krishna sound his conch shell, to announce his victory on everything, the beginning of everything. So, any comments or questions?
Prabhu, thank you for the class. I was thinking, I never knew that a conch shell was a bone. What type of animal, does it come from?
It's a sea creature.
A fish?
But I don't. You know, Kushachi? The crustaceous. It's in the category of a crustaceous. It's like, there's creatures that have, that's their body. And they're called, it's like, the crustaceous are like a crab and all these creatures, yeah.
You spoke about, thank you for the class for sure. You spoke about the conch shell and the Sudarsan Chakra. Almost every devotee has conch shell, at their personal altar at home. And sometimes we have festivals. And I always thought that it would be really fun to bring the conch shells and everyone blow them, right? When at the sure. If even devotees here have conch shells, when the pujari blows the conch shell, is it okay to blow our personal one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, you're having your own kartals or your own mardanga,
Right.
These are items of worship.
Right. And then also, you spoke about it's the flower, the conch, the mace, and the Sudarsan Chakra. And sometimes there's a sword also, right?
Yeah, there's other weapons that the Lord has, but these are the main symbols.
So when we pray for the Sudarsan Chakra to protect us, it's not going to hurt a person, right? How does it protect us? It's not going to do anything to people to hurt them, right?
Well, we not necessarily desire that, but the Lord may, like He did with Durvasha Muni. He sent the chakra. He killed the demon. Sudarsan killed the demon. Ambarish was not necessarily, he was ready to be killed by that. He was not going to retaliate. but the Lord didn't appreciate that. And, that was the whole message of that pastime, that the Lord explained to Durvasa Muni what the principle is, that, he is controlled by the love of his devotee. So, you offend his devotee, and is more serious than offending the Lord himself. He's very forgiving when you offend him, but when you offend his devotee, then, he can, Sudarsan can really chop you down, so. Okay, sorry. And you have to turn it on.
The various weapons, or the four that you were describing in detail, at least two were acquired through killing a demon. And it seems that it seems even like a practice in war that persons will take something of the enemy and then use it as decoration that they're victorious.
Right.
So it seems, and it's even reminding me of Lord Nrsimhadev, ornamenting himself with the entrails of Hiranyakashipu. He's using it as a necklace. So I was just thinking of that. It sort of seems to enhance the glory of Lord Vishnu or Lord Nrsimhadev, that they're ornamenting themselves with some object that has come from defeating an enemy. So I was just reflecting a little bit.
Yes. I think it's Kshatriya thing. It's a Kshatriya thing. Yes. Yeah, that's.
In the modern day,
In the what?
like modern day now, I guess the rappers do that now, because they'll take the chain of another rapper and then put it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, they
and
do
like,
that?
we got your chain. It's kind of like a thing now.
It's like a Kali Yuga tiny version of Kshatriya, All right. Jitendra Prabhu, you have anything to add? Thank you so much. Garantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.